Rob Christiansen's on the show today, and we're talking about Fullon. Hey there, Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCGFAM show. To you, my YouTube buddies, what's going on? Let me know in the comments. It's day 3. It's still just a big pile of dirt, but it's looking pretty good. I think we got some good watering going on here. That first day when I watered it, it kind of dried up a little bit. I think we didn't quite get it saturated enough, but yesterday, did some good watering on it. I don't think we're going to need to water it today, so we're going to move on to the next topic. Hold on one second. That's better. We're going to move on to the next topic, Fullon. So what we've been doing is we've had some SLF 100 and some Dr. Root that we've been watering into this each time we water. We talked to Newton and Tim about the benefits of these two. Today we're going to talk to Rob Christiansen from Fullon about the benefit of using this as well. So let's get him on the line, see what we got going on. Rob!
How you doing, brother?
Rob, what's going on? Hold on a second. I'm moving you onto the big screen over here.
Perfect.
Hold on here. I'm having trouble with this little bit here. Oh, sent. There we go. Okay. How you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm glad I was going to wear that shirt. I'm glad I didn't.
Oh. I love this shirt. You know what? I got like about 10 or 15 of these that we didn't sell for when we did the event, so I think this will just be my shirt for a while.
Exactly, dude. Kind of a uniform thing, right?
There you go. Yep. So we got everybody online. We're talking right now, so let's just get after this. The other day, the last couple of days, we're growing our peppers, as you can see.
Right.
So the first couple waterings, we planted them in here and we soaked them good. We've watered them twice, and we used some Dr. Root and some SLF 100 from Newton and Tim, which we talked to them about what their stuff does. But I wanted to talk to you about what your stuff does, about the Fullon. So let's just constrain this conversation to about seeds in dirt, haven't popped yet. What is the benefit of this, and what is the application of Fullon for this application?
Fullon is definitely going to be beneficial to the seed and the seedling, giving it kind of some initial nutrients and micronutrients just as it gets started. Essentially, you don't want to use very much. If you're soaking seeds or germinating seeds, maybe 1 to 2 ml at the most. And the same thing in the soil, when the seeds first go in the soil, or if it's a clone or whatever, right around 2 ml a gallon. And then you can increase it to like 4 ml a gallon once it gets its first 2 leaves.
Okay.
And you can foliar right along with it. What you should see is obviously more rapid growth is kind of what we're looking for, trying to give that seed and the seedling all the things that it needs to really kind of get its energy, get the immunity up and things like that. And I think we mentioned, or we talked about it earlier, that we've actually got a fellow in the Philippines that's had fantastic results soaking seeds in Fullon, and they're able to germinate the seeds without what they normally do is apply a fungicide to it, because the cacao seed has a fungus that's apparently inherent to it. So what's traditionally done is they will put a fungicide on the seed and then germinate from there.
Wow.
However, with Fullon, right around 2 ml a gallon, I think is what he's using, it gives that seedling enough resistance against the fungus in there that it just goes. So it basically bypasses what normally would kill the seedling, that being the fungus.
So I guess we don't know exactly what's going on there, but I'm gathering that we suspect that it's not so much that the Fullon is doing anything to kill this fungus, it's making the seed so healthy that it can overcome it. And that's what we're looking for from this, is this vigor in the seed.
Right, and that's what we see in mature plants too, that the healthier the plant, especially the higher the Brix production, the sugar production, the thicker the leaf tissue, it prevents all sorts of stress issues, from pests to drought to a lot of different things. So basically, I don't believe in any way that the Fullon, especially at that little level, is doing anything against the fungus itself. It's certainly not a fungicide.
Right.
But what we do see is it gives the seedling enough stress resistance and enough energy, if you will, with all the micronutrients, the negative ions maybe helping out at that early stage. And like I say, it helps those seeds and seedlings kick into gear, get their roots going, and really just have a lot more vitality early on, which obviously is one of the keys to moving faster through a growth cycle, is getting those little guys going as quickly as you can, getting root development going, and then they get fully into veg, and they're balling at that point, basically.
Okay, that's outstanding. Well, because we're doing the peppers. A lot of our people watching the show are doing a lot of different crops. But with these, the exotic peppers are slow to come up. So this could be helpful with that.
No, I think it will. And our buddy Jake.
Jake, huh?
He's had a lot of pepper growing experience with Fullon, and I know he was early harvesting this year on a lot of different plants that he had, tomatoes and things like that. I'm not sure if it was the same with the peppers, but I seem to think that he pretty much finished quicker on everything in his gardens this year.
Well, I'm thinking about this, and when I thought about before, you said, well, it finishes faster. In my mind, I'm thinking, in flower, that it's pushing out the fruit more, whatever, is going on at that part of the process. But it never occurred to me that there's a lot of time to be gained by gaining maturity at the front end of the process that gets you shorter over the long haul.
It does, and you also end up with better production. You're going to have more flowers, more flower sites on the plants. More fruit sets, whatever it may be. So by the time the plant does go into the bloom stage, you're going to have more, like I say, more of what you're trying to get. Not just the fact that it's moving through quicker, but basically you've increased the health and vitality and cell production of the plant to the point where it's just, it's running at high efficiency. And healthy and producing what it should. A lot of sugars, a lot of oils, whatever the case may be. In case of peppers, they can get absolutely fire hot. Because it pumps the heat production. I can't think of the term for it.
The Scoville rating. Well, I was talking to Scott about something very different from this, but kind of the same. We were talking about soil that has a lot of bark in it, and how that bark starts breaking down, and you get acidity, and your pH starts dropping out of it. And you fix that pH. It takes you a couple weeks to fix that pH to get where it's drinking up that calcium again. And in that time, you've lost those couple of weeks of doing serious production. There's a lot of things like that, like with pesticides. When you get behind a pesticide problem and you're pounding them with the pesticide stuff, and you lose those weeks of production, there's all these things along the way where making that happier plant, it makes a huge difference in the production, because you don't lose that time of a couple of weeks of where it's pushing out, doing its thing. So this is kind of the same thing as that.
You're absolutely right, Bob. It kind of goes back to, although Fullon isn't really an IPM, but it kind of goes back to that maintenance and prevention, if you will, that if you really get those plants with a lot of vitality and vigor and growing, and they're going to have more bricks production. And so insects, pests, whatever, are going to tend to go to weaker plants that aren't as strong. Definitely, the stronger you can keep your plant in terms of bricks production and overall health and vigor, the less likelihood that you're going to be dealing with a lot of pest issues. And if you do, they probably don't get as severe as you would find it in a garden where the plants are, kind of in a mid-grade mode.
And it's an inconvenience as opposed to losing weeks and weeks of solid production on your plant. So
that comes down to money. I mean, losing those weeks amounts to dollar bills. If you're outdoors, you can get into trouble with the change of seasons.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is that a lot of our people that are growing these crops and growing them outdoors, they got a problem with mold if they get too late into the season and they start getting rain. But it's not just about that. If you're looking at a shorter season, it's also that a shorter season is probably a more productive season, because that plant, it's gone shorter because it's been more efficient all the way through. It's doing its thing.
Exactly. And I know that guys that have run it year after year, I think Carl Gorka,
Carl.
He's down 2 weeks again this year.
Really?
On his finish times. So, I don't want to speak for him, but it seems consistent with all the guys we work with that, especially outdoors, that if they get on it early and apply it regularly throughout the grow, you end up being able to cut earlier than a lot of guys with a healthier plant, more weight, more better terp profiles, all that good stuff.
You're getting out with good flowers, no mold in them. Okay, well, so I think we've covered pretty much a lot of that, and it was nice talking about it, but I want to get down to the specifics of this, because that's really what the show's going to be about for the next, a little while. We're doing, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to water this every 2 to 3 days, and then it's going to, not totally dry out, but come to the point where it needs some water again, where we're not going every day, but we're going every, 2, 3, 4 days. And so, but every time I do water at this point, what I'm doing is I'm mixing in about a quarter of a teaspoon of this into, I've got a 32-ounce bottle so far that I'm using, just using this bottle. So I fill this up with water, and then I put about a quarter teaspoon of the Dr. Root in, and then I just put a little bloop of the SLF in there. I'm not really measuring that one out. So if I'm doing that every 3 days, would I be putting this in every single time? Would I be doing this when I do these? How is this going to fit into my my watering regimen at this point with just seeds?
So basically, your watering regimen includes Dr. Root and SLF, right?
Correct. That's the only thing, that and just pure water.
Yep. I would add Fullon to that, 1.5 to 2 mil in that neighborhood, and do it every time that you water, basically, because it does play very well with microbial products. It helps build the colonies. So it's a good additive in conjunction with those.
So 1 to 2 mil, like a quarter teaspoon. What are we looking at here? Half a teaspoon?
Yeah, well, a teaspoon is about 5 ml. So basically, about a quarter teaspoon.
A quarter teaspoon to that. And so, let me ask you this though. Just one quick question. Why wouldn't I put a gallon of this stuff in? Why wouldn't I just put more in? Is it just because it's not as effective, or why do you slowly ramp it up? What's the thinking behind that? Is it just about money, or what is it?
No, it's basically, the way I look at it, number one, a lot of times you don't want to overfeed, give too many nutrients.
Seedling,
seedlings and kind of, now all of a sudden they're trying to battle through all that stuff.
Okay.
And what we find is, a little bit very early on, seed to seedling stage, seems to help a lot and really to get the plant going. So to increase more until the plant gets bigger, I don't think makes a lot of sense.
Well, I was talking with Newton about the SLF, and Steve's got his little backpack of food in there. It comes preloaded with some food, and this helps to kind of break that down to make it eat more. We probably want it to eat its own little food and working within itself internally for a little bit before it's really eating stuff on the outside. That's why we don't go so quick with the nutrients. Am I on the right track with that?
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Okay.
It's in my mind, it's always better to start slow, regardless of what stage you're in of plant growing. But certainly when you're in that seed to seedling phase and early on, if the plants don't need a hell of a lot of nutrients because they're not, there's not that much tissue growth, relatively speaking. So what we give them, those little amounts, really helps to establish them. And then once they start to get more structure, more leaves, tissue, and things like that, then they need more nutrients, and they can benefit from more Fullon to increase the nutrient uptake, and more importantly, the conversion of those nutrients directly into new cell growth. So it's a situation that, like I say, really you can increase at least the Fullon, throughout the early stages of the plant's life, and then once you're in, a week or two in veg, a lot of people are right up to anywhere from 6 to 8 to 12 ml a gallon, depending if they're indoors, outdoors, nutrient mix, that sort of thing.
Okay, so the plan is that it sounds like that we're going to be doing all 3 of these, about a quarter teaspoon of each, or maybe a little more of the SLF, every watering, 2 to 3 days between waterings until we see some green stuff popping up. Is that correct?
Yep,
okay.
Exactly.
Well, cool.
Exactly.
Well, that gets us one more day down the road. I'm excited. Thanks for coming on the show.
Me too. Thank you, Bob. I'm looking forward to see those peppers come up.
Okay, that was fun. We sure appreciate Rob being on the show. I hope you enjoyed that and found it informative. I think we got a good plan going forward. That's today. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. For more information about anything on today's show, go to our website, OCGFAM.com. And if you buy anything while you're there, use the code FAMHARVEST. It's going to save you 20%, and it's a lot of fun. The OCG Fam Show, it's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.